Hi guys, it's John here, and this is a look at the Gamesir Tarantula Pro. So this is the latest in the Tarantula series from Gamesir, and this controller has got so many features, we're going to have to go through all of them on the video today. But yeah, this is a new controller that they've just released, retailing at about $69.99. If you want the one here with the charging stand, that will cost you about $79.99. So it's not cheap, but there are lots of features here which could help you in your gameplay to have the clear advantage. So having a look on the back of the box, you can see some of the features here. We've got the, of course, Hall effect sticks. We've got adjustable RGB light here at the top. We've got the mechanical D-pad and customizable programmable buttons here. There's 9 mappable buttons in total for this controller, so that's a lot of mapping that you can do for those games which have some complex controls. We also get 2 back buttons and of course rear textured grips, along with micro switches or Hall effect triggers, with the option to switch between them with a physical button. Now this is going to work on PC, Switch, Android and iOS. It does have Bluetooth and a wireless 2.4 GHz dongle here, which is probably better to use if you can over Bluetooth. That has a very low latency indeed. We do have some mechanical gears inside this controller. When I first turned it on, I was quite surprised, so we'll have a look at that shortly. So inside the box, we get the controller itself. We get the charging stand in the slightly more expensive version here. We get a USB-A to USB-C cable, we get a manual, get the RF dongle here, and the Gamesir sticker as well, along with some warranty information. So let's first take a look at the controller itself. And you can see here, this is a PlayStation style layout, which I'm not normally a fan of, but it actually doesn't feel bad in the hands, I've got to admit. But we do have so many different buttons here, it might look a bit confusing, but it's not too difficult to understand when you get an idea of what they all do. So let's just have a look. Standard A, B, X and Y here. We get Hall effect analog sticks here, which feel really nice and smooth. We get our digital D-pad here, as you can hear that clicking away. And we also get these programmable buttons here, C1, C2, C3 and C4. We get our back and start button and our screenshot button and the Gamesir button here for powering on and switching modes. Now we also get some hidden buttons up here. We get this little section up here which has, a button at the top here, button on the right and a button in the middle. So these can all be mappable to any button that you wish. So it's quite exciting to think about what you could potentially set up with this controller. On the top we get our RB and LB and our analog triggers here. And of course, yes, we do have L3 and R3 here. So having a look on the back here, we can see our analog triggers can be turned into digital triggers. To do that, all you have to do is switch this across, and you'll see we now go straight to the micro switch. And we can do the same on the other trigger as well if we just want micro switch style triggers. Now you can have it set to analog, but with digital hair triggers enabled, and we'll go through that very shortly. We also get these mappable buttons here at the back here, R4 and L4. And again, these can also be disabled completely if you wish. If you don't want them to be clicking around whilst you're playing, you can completely lock them out. Also on the back here is the M button here, which is what you will use for setting up your different configurations, and we'll obviously go through that. And we get our 4 little gold dots here for our charging base, and our wireless pairing button here on the bottom. So yeah, the charging base itself, it can be charged via USB-A or USB-C, as you can see. You only need a 5 volt, 500 milliamp hour charger for this. And yeah, you pop the controller on here and it'll just start charging like so. So yeah, it's a really nice little stand. It could potentially do with some rubber on the bottom to stop it moving around. I can imagine if you pop that in, it might slide around a bit, but overall it's a nice solid stand for that extra £10. And for obviously the convenience of not having to plug your controller in to charge it up, I think this is quite a nice little thing to add on. But yeah, there is that additional £10 to pay for it. Okay, so let's turn on the controller and see how it looks. Now you can see here, as soon as I turn that on, there was a mechanical noise. And at first that shocked me a bit, but there is actually some mechanical gears in here which can rotate the A, B, X and Y around. So if you are a Nintendo Switch player, for example, and you want your A and B switched around, you can do so by holding down the M button at the back and holding down A. And you can see that has now switched mechanically to B, A, X and Y. So you don't need to pull out any buttons or switch them around. You can just do that from the M button and holding down the A button. Let's just do that again so you can see. So I'm going to hold down the M button on the back and press and hold B. And you can see it rotates the buttons back around underneath to be the layout that you wish. So yeah, very fancy. Maybe it's a bit of overkill, but it's very cool nonetheless. Now this does also have NFC support. So for Nintendo Switch, you can use this top section here to read NFC figures or whatever you might be using in your games. That's worth knowing. This does have NFC support. It weighs about 265 grams, so not heavy at all. It does have a 12,000 mAh battery. So you can see here we have LED lights for the buttons here, and we have our little LED strip here as well, which is all customizable, which we're going to go through very shortly. So yeah, overall, as a controller, it feels really nice in the hands. Like I said, I'm not normally a fan of these PlayStation style layouts, but I can't see it being a massive problem, particularly if I were to use this over a Xbox style layout. But yeah, let's go through the gamepad tester, make sure all the buttons are working nicely, and then we'll go through and do some gameplay and see how it fares. Okay, so gamepad tester here, you can see very responsive indeed. And for those who don't like clicky buttons particularly, you're not going to have any problems here with that D-pad. It's really nice and smooth to control. The A, B, X and Y buttons, these feel more like an Xbox 360 button to me, if you remember the old Xbox 360 buttons. But yeah, they're nice and easy to press and very responsive as well. Clickable analog triggers, of course, RB, LB, and our analog sticks, which we can, like I said, convert to digital micro switches by just switching those. And you can see here now we go over to the micro switches. Now, as I mentioned, you can have it as analog with the hair trigger enabled. To do that, you just press and hold M, and then you press and hold the trigger you want to change over. You'll feel a little vibration, and then you can see here, even though we're still in analog mode, it's going fully on as soon as we press it. To turn that off again, you just press and hold M, press and hold the trigger, and it will switch it back to analog mode. Okay, so to map one of these mappable buttons here, we just press and hold M, and we press the mappable button we want to map. You'll see the Gamesir logo start flashing. Then you press the button you want to map to. So let's say A, and then you press the mappable button again. And now when I press that mappable button, it's going to be my A button. To clear that, you just press and hold M, press and hold the mappable button until you see the Gamesir logo flashing. Then you press the mappable button to clear it, and that will save the setting. So now I've cleared that from the memory. Now we can also map these C1, C2, C3, C4 buttons and the 3 up on this little section at the top, but the easiest way to do that is going to be inside the Gamesir app itself. Okay, so you can see here in the app we can customize the C1 to C4, we've got T1 to T3, and of course our mappable buttons on the back, L4 and R4. So let's say C1 here, we want to give it a replacement key, let's say the A button just for ease. And now when we go back and do our quick gamepad test, we'll see that C1 is now our A button. Now you can obviously also set different macros if you wish to, but this is just for setting the actual buttons to be something you wish. So let's do one of these buttons at the top here. So let's say the T1 button, let's set that to X. And now if we go back and test, we've now got X set up here. So I can imagine this is useful if you're holding your controller in a certain way where you need to have more fingers than you've got. You can, press that X button without having to reach over, or potentially, for people with any disabilities, it could be that you've got more strength in your left hand than your right hand and you need to use your left hand mainly to play games. So what if we want to record a macro combination? We're going to press and hold the M button, and let's say C4. We want to save a combination of AA, XX, and then up, down, left, right. Now we're going to press C4 again to save, and now when we press C4, it's going to repeat those actions that we saved from the recording of the macro. So if you've got something in a fighting game where you have to pull off some stupid move that you can never do quite, you can just set this up in your own time, and then just at the tap of a button, there you go, you're pulling off your special move. So that's really handy. And again, to clear, just press and hold M and the button you want to clear, and then just press it again without pressing anything else, and that now clears it from the memory. Okay, so let's test out the D-pad in Apple Night here. Now I've been playing with this for a couple of days now and I've had absolutely no issues at all. It's working exactly as you'd expect. Like I say, even coming from an Xbox player, who normally uses an Xbox controller, I haven't had any problems using this PlayStation style layout. As you can see here, Fortnite working perfectly fine, no issues whatsoever, aside from my gameplay probably. But yeah, absolutely no problems here with the Tarantula Pro. Now, there's lots of customization you can do inside the Gamesir app here for the lights as well. You can actually set specific colors for the A, B, X and Y if you want to. So if you wanted to just have a bluish colored A button, you can. And of course you can adjust this to your needs. So you can really customize each and every button to be whatever you like. So that's a really nice, cool feature here, which I'm sure you can have many hours of fun playing around with, just to have something just slightly different and customized to your needs. And of course you set presets from here as well if you wish to, and you can just mess around with this for quite a while. I was certainly messing around with it for a bit of fun. And of course you can control the light strip as well, so you can set just a single color. You can set different breathing modes and rainbows and all sorts of speed settings as well. So yeah, have a play around in the Gamesir app itself. It's very good to get that installed. And again, that is available on Windows as well if you want to download it from the Windows Store. So that is the Tarantula Pro from Gamesir, and yeah, it's a really nice controller. Like I said, I'm not normally a fan of the PlayStation style layout, but I actually didn't have any problems at all using it. So maybe that's just me being a bit stuck in my ways. But yeah, really nice controller for $69.99 without the stand, or $79.99 with the stand. So not the cheapest, but considering Xbox controllers are at around £60 anyway, you're paying a bit more for the 9 mappable buttons and all the other bits and pieces you can do with it out of the box, which you can't do on a standard Xbox controller. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below on the Gamesir Tarantula Pro. Like I said, I have put an affiliate link down below if you want to help support the channel and pick one of these up. If you have any questions at all, let me know and I will do my best to answer them. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.